Jetpack Compose is a modern toolkit designed to simplify UI development. It is fully declarative, meaning you describe a UI by calling a series of functions that is transformed into UI hierarchy. Now we're going to create here a new project, and we're going to select this empty compose activity, and then let's click next here, and we're going to call this Jetpack Compose activity. And you have to select here the API 21, and let's click here finish and create our project. Android Studio has generated us some code here. As you can see, there are composable functions which generate by Android Studio, which can be a little bit confusing. So we're going to write this step by step in order to understand them very well. So we are going to delete all of this one here, and we are going to delete everything inside here. So now, as you can see, we are having here a set content, and this is the lambda function, which is different from what we used before, which is the set content view, which accepted the layout.xml file. So now we are going to use this set content. If you hover around here or press Ctrl Q, and then it's going to bring up the documentation, and this composes the given composables into the given activity. So we can call here composable functions, and this one is going to render it into a UI hierarchy. So now we have to declare our first composable function, and we are going to call this, let's use the composable notation, and this right here. Now let's import this one, and then we are going to call this a hello. So this is just similar to composable function, similar to the normal Kotlin function. However, we are using here the capital S first, and this is the naming convention of composable functions. Now we can try here to call a text, and we're going to use the text. This one is similar to the text view which we used in the view group system. So we can provide here, for example, hello composable. Now, as you can see here, we are providing hello composable. Now we can call this composable function inside this set content function, and we can call here hello composable. And right now we have to execute this inside the emulator or in our phone. However, we can try to write here a preview function. If you hover around here, we can see that there is no preview found, and we have to annotate this composable with that preview. So let's jump in here and create a preview function. So we are going to use @preview. And we have to annotate it also with @composable, because this is going to call composable functions, and anything calling composable function must have a composable annotation. So we are going to call this and then we can call here hello composable, and right now it's going to display here. So you can customize here to show background, and you can set this equals to true, and also we can provide the custom name which we wish. We can call this because you can have different views which you can use to preview your functions. So right now, if we go here and try to preview our functions, it's going to roll out. Now, as you can see here, the preview has given us, and it has given us the default preview and hello composable, which we have provided here in the text. Now, let's add a theme in our app, and it's simple, just calling a function, and all done. Navigate to the UI.theme and open up theme.kt. So we are going to navigate to this folder here, and we are going to open up theme.kt. So I'm going to show you here. Now, if you navigate here to this Jetpack Compose project theme, as you can see, there are different things which have been declared here. We have the color palette, and we have the light color palettes, which have been defined in this color.kt folder. Now, if you look here, also there is other functions, which is the material themes, and it can be used to customize to suit your app. Now, as you can see now, if we go to code and we can see we have two parameters which have been passed here. And this one is the Boolean function, which is going to check if the system is going to be in a dark or a light theme so that we can use different color palettes. And also it is taking up a composable functions, which we can use them in our main activity to call other composable functions. So right now, if we go here to the main activity, so I'm going to call this here the Jetpack Compose project theme inside here. Now we can call the hello composable. So now I'm going to show you a good way later in the video on how to set up this project theme, and you can reuse it in different activities so that you cannot customize it every time you want to create a new activity. So right now here we have provided the theme and it can be used in our app. Now let's change the background color of the text, and we're going to use here a surface, and let's define here a surface. And now we are going to provide the color here. And for example, we can take here to blue. Now we can use this color blue in order to provide the background color, and we are going to copy this text and paste it inside here. So now we are going to change the background color of this text here. So the component nested inside the surface will be drawn on top of the background color. So in case here we are using a blue, so this will be drawn above the blue color. Now let's try here and rebuild our preview and see it here live. Now the project has rendered here the preview function, and as you can see, we have the hello composable and the background is blue. Now, as you can see, our composable functions are not reusable. So let's pick things around and make things easier to read and reuse them in another activity. As you have noticed here, we have been writing this composable function outside of the main activity so that we can reuse them in different activities. So now if we navigate here to the code, and we're going to try to create a certain way which we can reuse this code in other activities. So let's create here at composable. And we are going to create a function called my app. And inside here, we have to use this function inside here. Now, it's still that not really useful because we are calling this hello composable and we don't want to call this one. So we have to provide here the function which we can use then to call inside here. And for this purpose, we have to pass the composable function. So we are going to create a higher order function here. And this we are going to call the content, and it's going to use the composable. Its type is going to be composable. And this composable is going to return unit. And composable are emitting UI, and they are not returning anything. So we are not returning anything, but however, they are emitting this UI. In this case, we have to return the unit function. Now, if we copy this now here and call the content, and if we navigate here to set content, we can call my app. And inside this now, we are using a trailing lambda syntax here, since this is the only argument inside this function. And inside now here, we can call the composable functions. Now we can paste here inside our code, and we can call the hello composable. But right now we are applying this to only this text here. We can make the background color different from this here by calling this surface inside the change the composable function. Now let's call this here, and we can paste inside here and now. So this hello composable is only used to provide a text, and now this one can be reused in another activities. And if we call now hello composable inside this function, is going to call all of this one. Now let's just try to here and rebuild our function and see how it's going to give us. Now we have customized our code in order to use it in different activities. But if you look here in the default preview here, there is a problem. I think there is a bug in Android Studio. So let's try here and run it in our phone and see it how it's going to be displayed. Now running it on the phone, we are getting here the blue background and the text which has been rendered above the surface. Now let's leave it here. Thank you.